Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Marlu and this is Amanda Books, and today I'm going to be doing a very exciting video. I am going to read the winners of the Goodreads Awards 2024. I love this time of year. I love all these videos about people reading the winners and nominees. I just think it's very exciting to just dive into that time capsule that is right now the books of this year, because throughout your reading journey you're just gonna read books that interest you. And it doesn't matter when they came out, but it's fun to read books that are popular right now. So I actually didn't vote, and I also think it's kind of rigged because everyone can vote. So if you've read a book, you can vote on that, but you have no idea if that's actually the best book that is nominated. But you cannot force people to read 20 books and then pick the best one. So, you know. But the winners this year kind of surprised me. They were not the books that I have heard the most of, and that really intrigued me. So maybe there are some good things in here. I'm gonna start off with the sci-fi category. I actually read A Ministry of Time, and I don't think it's... I cannot say if this one was the best one on the list because I did not read the entire list. However, I do know that a lot of people say this is a stolen plot. And yeah, besides that, I didn't really love this book, to be honest. So, but because I do want to read diverse books, because I am like, I read a lot of literary fiction and then a little bit of mystery thriller and romance. So it's good to dip your toes into other genres. So I picked out Any Bot, who I think placed third, and I've already been listening to it for a while, so I'm listening to it as an audiobook. It's about this woman. Well, she's a robot. Her name is Annie, and we're reading from her point of view, and she's in this relationship. She's a cuddle buddy type of robot, which means a girlfriend, right? A girlfriend. And trigger warnings before reading this book. I find it a pretty hard read because it's a robot, but you're seeing it from her perspective, and she does have feelings. She gets hurt. She can be, it's just like you're reading about abusive relationship. It's pretty hard to read. So, definitely think about that before you start it. But yeah, you're following this robot, and she has this owner dog, and he is, as you could expect, not the nicest man for not being able to hold a girlfriend. So he buys one. Yeah, so the story is just about her trying to please him, because that's her main goal. She's programmed to do that, but then she also discovers other things about life, and she just, I don't know, she just wants to be like the rest of us, I guess. So yeah, I have like 5 hours left to read, so I'll come back to you once I finish that with my final thoughts. And then the category I was most excited about was the literary fiction category. From this category, I already read Blue Sisters and Greta and Valdin. I really enjoyed Blue Sisters, and I would have voted on that if I was able to vote, but I couldn't for some reason. But yeah, then I saw that The Wedding People by Alison Espach, I don't know if you pronounce her name like that, won. And I was like, wow, I've never seen this book before, and it wins. And it also won from like Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. That is pretty exciting. So I'm about to start it, and maybe I'll also read Intermezzo in this video because it was nominated, and I was kind of thinking it was going to win, maybe, or maybe Blue Sisters. I have heard mixed reviews on Intermezzo, so maybe it's not Sally Rooney's best book. That could well be. So yeah, I'm just gonna read this book and also read Any Bot, and then after that I'll come back to you and decide what else I'm going to read. I could pick some off the romance list. I know that Funny Story one, which I already read, and I also read Just for the Summer. So I have to see if there's any other book in the top 10 that I think I would like. I could also read the horror winner. So I'm not sure. I don't know if I want this video to take forever. So I'll be back when I start another book. I mean, I'll be back when I can tell you what this book is about. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel and let's get started. Hello, it's the next day. I don't know if you can tell, I'm wearing the same sweater. This one's so cute. It's a cowboy bear. Excuse me? Adorable. Okay, so I stayed up late last night reading this book. I also played some Sims. And then every time it was like saving, I play Sims 3 on a very old laptop. Saving time is reading time. But yeah, I did start playing Sims again, so that might happen again tonight. But I have a goal of finishing this book today, so... Anyways, I'm on page 132, and let's talk about this book. I am loving it. So, this is about a girl, and she had a husband, and she struggled to get pregnant, and at some point they gave up. Then her husband is like, bye, they divorced, and this woman's like, I'm gonna go to this expensive hotel and kill myself. Yeah, basically that. But when she arrives at the hotel, there is this wedding going on that takes like all week, and she runs in with the bride, and the bride is like, you cannot kill yourself, it's my wedding week. And I'm not gonna go farther into it than that because that would ruin it for you if you want to read it, but I am enjoying it so much. I already understand why it won, because it is literary fiction in a way that it focuses on characters' feelings, trauma, emotions, relationships, whatever. But there's also kind of like that page turning feeling, you know, you want to know what happens next. So you have dual timeline, one in the past when she was either still with her husband or after they split up, and then you also have the timeline with now with the wedding, which is just very exciting to me. I just love seeing how this woman is like, what she's gonna do, you know? I want to know what she's doing, so I'm loving it. I of course still have like 200 pages to go, so it's quite ambitious for me to want to finish this in one day, but I just really want to start intermezzo tomorrow, so you know, I do need to finish this. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, and I also listened a little bit to Anybot yesterday, so I have like 4 hours of that left, and I don't know when I'll finish that, but yeah, let's get to reading. I have to try so hard not to open Sims right now, because normally like I can play Sims in the evening, you know, because then I feel like, you know, it's just time you spend in bed anyways, you might as well play Sims. But now there's this itch, a Sims itch that wants to be scratched. I'm just gonna try and read this book, and if I cannot focus on the book because I want to play Sims, I might give in. I just might give in. But yeah, let's just give this book a shot first. I did it. I finished it. I am gonna talk about it tomorrow. I read it in under 2 days. I'm so happy about that. I'll check in with you tomorrow. Hello, it's the next day. I'm gonna do my ratings at the end of this video, but I did enjoy the book. It was a fun book, but I don't know if it's the best book I've ever read, but that's fine. So now I'm gonna start Intermezzo, which was the second best book, most voted for a book. So I'm gonna start this, very excited to read it. And if you're like, why do you read 2 books in the same category in the same order? It's just because I just really want to read this book. So that's what we're going to do, and I'll update you when I get further into it. Hello, it's the next day. I'm still in this sweater. I get so self-conscious filming videos, like, I'm allowed to wear a sweater for 3 days. Okay, I'm not doing anything, I'm just reading books. Anyways, I am so happy because I'm on track. Woo! I'm currently on track. After being behind for like months, it's so great. I just finished Annie Bob by Sierra Greer, and again, I'm gonna save my ratings for the end of the video because I need to, you know, gather my thoughts. But yeah, it was enjoyable. It was also a bit sad, also a bit icky, because you're like, wow, this is really bad for humanity. And I just don't want to think about the world all too much. You know, things happening in the world right now. I'm trying to shut myself off because I'm never going to be happy if I think about things too much. But yeah, so basically, as I talked about it before, it's about this robot's relationship with her owner, and it's cool. It was good. I also have a few more thoughts on The Wedding People, and what I think is why I loved it at first but didn't end up loving it as much is because these people in this book, like the main character is like 40 years old. I am 23, and I know that not trying to sound arrogant, not trying to sound like that at all, but I've heard it a million times. I have high emotional intelligence, and it's a blessing and a curse, but it also means that when I read books and it's about self and discovery and about who you are and what is right and wrong or whatever, it sometimes feels like people have to learn things that I already know, but these people are way older than me, and that's fine, you know. I know that people take longer times to discover things, but for me, that takes away the thing of realization for myself. Like sometimes I read a book and I learn new things about myself through that book, and that makes me love a book because it's like, wow, you taught me something about myself that I didn't know, or they taught me something that I knew but couldn't bring into words, and now the author did. And I love that about reading. So that's the thing with like literary fiction, it's character based. That's cool, that's fun, it's enjoyable. But when the characters are behind you in a way, like not every book I love the characters are further into things than me, but like it felt like the things these people were going through were a little bit like not as profoundly deep as I prefer in books. Does it sound snobby? It's not meant like that. It's just my opinion of the book. But I still think it's overall a fun book, but I just think it was more surface level than I enjoy, if that makes sense. Still an enjoyable book. And then of course yesterday I started Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I got up until page 93. I really have to get used to this writing style. Like you have 3 point of views basically. So you have to, I didn't even talk about this book. You have 2 brothers, and the one is in his 30s and he's dating this college girl, and he's also like with his ex-girlfriend. He loves her, but yeah. And then you also have his younger brother who is probably autistic. It's not, you know, it's talked about, but it's not like he's confirmed autistic, but you know, he seems it, and he's really good at chess, and it's about him, and then he meets a woman, and that's interesting. And then you also have that woman's perspective. The way this book is written, especially in the older brother's perspective, it's very because I sing, I described it to people as staccato, because I don't know how else to describe it, but it's written staccato. It's like, can I find an example? Back across the river then for a meeting, expelled from the warm, somehow private interior of the college, his mind and body unprotected, raw feeling, ordinary drab grayness of the city, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable. Gary wants to know he's around, get a drink, dinner. Naomi texts him, plans tonight. To go on like this, just for the sake of other people, and anyway, who? Not her, God knows. Better off, he actually did it, nor Sylvia. You know what I mean? It's like this in everything when it's about him. And it's fun in a way that I love when writing like is something different, you know, it's something new. But at the same time, when you read it for long amounts of time, you're like, what am I reading? Because it doesn't make that much sense. I mean, it does make sense, but it also doesn't in a normal, like you wouldn't normally talk about things in that way. And then you have his brother Evan's point of view, and he It's just like he has this kind of like neurodivergent mind, and it's written differently, and I really enjoy that you can just tell who you're reading from by the way it's written. I really enjoyed that. From an artistic point of view, I am already really liking this book. I'm enjoying it so far. I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star read, but I never expect that from Sally Rooney because she has a knack for writing unlikable characters. This is quite a book. Like it has 437 pages. So you know, she's finally back on track, and then she started to read a long book. Yeah, but I'm gonna try and finish it this weekend. It's Friday today, so hopefully I can do it. I'm currently at 20% in, so I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it, but I want to do it. And that's what matters. Okay, so I'll come back to you when I start reading again. Hello, it's Saturday. Last night I read up until page 200, so we're getting there, almost halfway. So I'm gonna hopefully read a bunch today, and hopefully I can finish it tomorrow. I mean, it would be best if I could finish it today, but that means I have to read like 240 pages today, and that's kind of crazy. So I'm gonna read a bunch, and hopefully I can finish it tomorrow. That's my goal. I'm enjoying it. We have now arrived at part 2, so I'm very curious to see what will happen in part 2, since part 1 is mostly about relationships and the brothers dealing with their father's death and their difficult relationship with each other. Hello, it's the next day, and last night I actually finished Intermezzo, so I did it in 3 days. I am so proud of myself. This book is a little bit on the longer side than most books I read, so I was like, can I do it in 3 days? I did it. And the reason I could do it was because this was so good. I loved it. And if you see me in the beginning being like, well, it's kind of like weird writing, whatever, it grew on me. The story grew on me, the characters grew on me, the way they came in contact with each other, it just tickled something in my brain. I love this so much, and I've been thinking about it all day if I should give it a 5-star, because I don't give out 5 stars. Like, if I would like have to call up a few of my favorite books, like The Pisces, Tomorrow, those books I did not give 5 stars, right? But they're my favorite books, so like I don't give out 5 stars easily. But I don't know, I have nothing to say why this shouldn't be a 5-star. So, you know, of course, when I wrap up this video, I'm coming back to it. At the lowest, it's gonna be a 4.5. This was really good, and I don't want to talk too much about it because you should go in blind and go in with low expectations, because I did, and that helped me love it. Definitely my favorite Sally Rooney book. The characters, the relationships, and my problem normally with Sally Rooney is that her female characters are just so unlikable that they're not relatable anymore. And I feel like this story is centered about 2 men, but there's also a woman point of view. Margaret is great. Then you also have Sylvia, I love Sylvia. And then you also have, what's her name, Naomi is maybe a more typical Sally Rooney character, but I can live with her, you know what I mean? So great. I loved Peter's story. Like, at first I was talking about how I preferred Ivan's story because Peter's story was so like strangely written, but it ended up being my favorite storyline because I don't know, this man just, I understood him very well. And that's why I love in books, when I just read something and I learn something about life and about myself, about characters, and I enjoyed it so much. So this is a great read. Read it in 3 days. Super happy. I am doing really well with the reading. Have I gathered my thoughts on The Wedding People? I think this is a great book under what I would call women's fiction. I think there's a very big difference between literary fiction and women's fiction. And I barely even speak English, you know? I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, on a level of, I've studied it. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but this feels more like we have fiction. It is around characters, feelings, relationships, but kind of with a plot, you know? And I feel like that's women's fiction. I think this is really great if you normally don't read literary fiction. This would be great for you. This is about people, but on a deep level. You know what I mean? This is more, I'm not saying like, I don't, if you understand what I'm saying, please let me know. I'm not like bitching about any of these books. I just think these are for a very different kind of reading purpose, even though they're in the same category, and this one lost from this one, but I love this one more, and this author is more popular, so it just blows my mind a little. Still a fun book, but if you're like me, you love like getting your soul, like if you want to question everything about relationships and life, I love that, you know, challenge me, this is the book. And if you just want fiction but with sort of like, ooh, what's gonna happen next, then this is more for you. Anyways, we have a few options on what to do next. I have the physical copy of The Love of My Afterlife, which is it's not the winner, it's like almost the loser of the romance nominee category, but it's the only book in that category that was nominated that interests me, other than the ones I've already read, like Funny Story, Just for the Summer. And there's a lot of smut books on there. I don't like smut, so that's an option. The other option is We Used to Live Here, and that's in the horror category. It became second place after Stephen King. I'm not that interested in reading the new Stephen King because it's just like, that man spits out books left and right and he wins because he's popular. And I'm not saying his books are bad, I'm just saying like I don't feel enthralled to read his books. I loved The Institute by Stephen King. It's my first Stephen King book. I thought it was great. I gave it like 4 stars. I really enjoyed that one. And then afterwards I read Billy Summers because I heard really great things about it, and I was like, oh, is this it? Yeah. So I mean, I'm more interested in reading books from different authors, seeing what's out there, and of course, if I love an author, I'm gonna read all their work. So this means I've read all Sally Rooney's books, except for like, she has like sort of a novella, I think. And I must say, like, when I started reading Sally Rooney, I didn't really love it. I read Normal People first, and I kind of enjoyed it, even though back then I didn't read literary fiction, so that's a good sign, but I hated the ending. I watched the TV show, loved the TV show, hated the ending. Yeah, and then I read Beautiful World, Where Are You? I couldn't stand that one. Those main characters just made me want to blow my brain out. That's an exaggeration. It's not. And then I didn't read it for a long time because it's like, maybe she's not for me. And then I read Conversation with Friends, and I really enjoyed that one, because it really made me like appreciate how she writes about relationships in this non-typical way. She explores what is normal and what is also maybe normal. You know what I mean? And people discovering that. It's not like people are just doing whatever and finding that normal. The same with this book. People are in situations and they want to conform to society's expectations and what they've, you know, been thought to think is normal. But then they find their own way in it because that's what life is. I love it. Anyways, favorite Sally Rooney book. Do I have to chat more? No. I am going to decide what book I'm going to read next, and I'll let you know. I've decided I'm gonna start The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood because the other option is horror, and I'm just feeling very heavy right now and I don't feel like horror, so maybe this will take my mind off things and I'll update you. Hello, it's Monday. Yesterday night I read 72 pages of Love of My Afterlife. I didn't read for long. This is just a book that goes really quick and I'm really happy with that. I have 4 more books to finish this year, and at least one of them will be for this video. Maybe another one. I mean, I already finished 3 for this video and this is gonna be the 4th one, so I'm not sure. I'll let you know.
But yeah, I'm now gonna start reading this again, and hopefully we can get, I don't know, halfway through. Is that a realistic thing to wish for? Let's just give it a shot.
Hello, it's Tuesday. I read a little bit more last night and then I just finished the book today. This was so much fun. This is... I need to sneeze. I can only complain about the frequent use of the word tut. It annoyed me, but other than that, this is a really fun book. It's about a woman who's basically just super closed off from the world, and she gets a second chance at life, basically. I mean, she has to find her soulmate in 10 days, kiss him, whatever, but she gets to experience life by actually living it, and it's just so nice to read about that. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I just flew through this. Like, I could easily read, like, I could have read this book in one day. Like, it did not take brain power, and I love that. I love that for me. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. Yeah, I'll see you when I pick up my next book.
Hello. I feel like an official booktuber now that I'm filming in a car. Anyways, I started the audiobook of We Used to Live Here last night, and someone's staring at me. And today I continued it. I also started the ebook, so I'm like reading it, listening to it at the same, well, not at the same time, but like, you know, switching it up. I think I'm 1/3 into the book. It's creepy, but it's horror, so, you know, it's about this this woman who lives with her girlfriend, and she lives in this old house that she's still renovating, and then this whole family shows up at her doorstep and are like, well, I used to live here, I grew up here, says the father of the family, and he wants to show around to his wife and kids. And she's like, I mean, okay. Okay. And then she lets them in, and it's just scary and spooky, and this family's kind of weird. And yeah, I'm kind of scared. I mean, I'm not really scared, but like, yeah. So I don't know what I think of it yet, besides that it's scary. So I'll update you when I get further into the book. I don't think I'll read much today because I have a Spamalot reunion tonight. Very excited. I did my hair with heatless curls, but it's like code yellow. So the wind is like riling up this hairdo. But it looks fine. It looks okay. Yeah, I've looked better, I've looked worse. Anyways, I'll update you, and yeah.
Hello, it's Saturday. I just finished We Used to Live Here, and this was such a scary book. Like, eerie vibes. Like, it's very like American Horror Story vibes. I'm not gonna say I loved it. The last part gave me goosebumps, like the last part. But other than that, it didn't feel like I got a satisfaction feeling of like why things are the way they are. And you know, a lot of people love it, so I mean, I guess other people don't need that, but for me it was like, I believe in paranormal stuff. I don't want to believe it, but I do. That's why it scares me so much. But if you do things for paranormal activity, you need to not have a bunch of things happening and not like, I need explanations. I need it to be but then I was reading reviews and I saw a review that there was going to be like a series of this house, so about other like history things happening in this book. And I was like, oh wow, that sounds good, I guess, because then you can get answers in those books. But I don't think I'll be reading those because I don't know, it did not give me the good feelings that other books do. This made me very jumpy. So yeah, there were a lot of things in here that were super scary. You have like these little in-between parts where there are documents or like online posts or like things explained, and it's really intriguing. But there's no conclusion to it, and that's unfortunate. And I think they might do that in the upcoming books, if that's actually true. I mean, I saw it in a review, I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I don't know. If you want to feel scary things, definitely read it. I have no idea what I'm going to rate this because I did not enjoy it. I mean, I am just not in the mental state to be reading scary books right now, but I finished it, and with that I finished this video. I read 6 books that were nominated by the Goodreads Awards, and overall I had a really great experience. I read some wonderful books that I may not have read if it wasn't for this video, if it wasn't for the awards, so I'm very grateful for that. Let's definitely do a ranking. I'm like trying to remember what I read. So like in first place, obviously Intermezzo. What a great book that was. I think second place has to go to The Wedding People. Third place, The Love of My Afterlife. I really enjoyed that one. It was very fun. What is the 6th book? I don't remember. I don't remember. Maybe there was not a 6th book. There never was. Crazy. I have to choose between this one or Any Bot. I gave Intermezzo a 4.5. Even though I said it might be a 5-star, I still really don't know. I settled on a 4.5. Gonna round it up to 5-star in Goodreads. The Wedding People I gave 4 stars because it was still, you know, captivating to me. The Love of My Afterlife 3.5 because it was really fun, but it's not like genius or anything, so I don't need to like give it a very high rating, but it was very enjoyable. I do recommend it if you like romance. Any Bot, I think I gave it a 3. It was very unsettling to me, and I didn't think it is something that I needed in my life. And then this book I just finished, I have no idea, maybe 3.5, because it did really do its job of scare the fuck out of me. God, I'm so scared right now. I don't want to read. I mean, I also listen to it as an audiobook that makes it extra scary. I'm not gonna read horror for a while. No, but sometimes I read things that are horror, but they don't do much for me, like in a scary way. This book did, it scared me. It scared me. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I would love to see you next time. Bye!